explain to Zach here.
Uh-huh.
I was explaining to him that unfortunately, when you're really good at stuff, I mean, he has the curse, the William Savant curse,
What's that?
where if people imagine or assume that you're good at stuff, then you'll go without. You'll go without information, you'll go without food, you'll go without the details because people assume that you already have them.
So because of that assumption, people miss out on information?
Yes, I did it. Yes, I did it to Zach at the show. You know how we have the intro music?
Yes.
Yeah, so Hot Sauce comes up to me and, she was concerned and she was like, hey, so about about this whole intro thing, we haven't done it yet on stage and this is my second show. Are we going to do the intro? And I said, well, yes, we're going to do the intro. And if anybody doesn't know, the music that was just playing in the podcast is the intro music that we use prior to getting on stage.
Fun facts.
Right. So Hot Sauce asked me if we were going to do the intro. Like we have the intro that is the music that we're playing with our instruments, but then we have the intro to the intro called the intro, and that was it.
That was the intro.
So she had asked me, are you going to do the intro? And I said, well, certainly we're going to do the intro, but we're not going to do the things that go along with the intro. That can get really confusing, but Zach knows what I'm talking about. And
I sure do.
And this is where it gets murky.
There's a whole song and dance that goes along with it.
And this is where it gets murky because Zach didn't know that we weren't going to do the thing that we're supposed to do during the intro.
Oh, did he do a separate intro?
Well, no, he never got to.
You didn't do the intro.
No. Well, I'm sure he looked around and saw that nobody was doing...
Well, I was standing off stage with Melissa and was like, hey, Zach.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's what happened.
You're like, hey, we're starting.
That's what happened. That's my fault. That is not Zach's fault.
We did all agree we were doing double intro. That's why they were all on the set lists and everything.
No, this is what you need to understand. This is a breakdown. This is me breaking down. This is where the communication had broken down during the show.
We did discuss this
prior.
Yeah,
but I didn't. Right. But and Hot Sauce had discussed with me, what we really should do. Like what was the final decision, and I had given a completely opposite decision than I had given everybody else. So that just goes to show you.
I mean, I guess it's okay for now because it's not like we were headlining. So.
Yeah, true.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I think I was more interested in
I'm glad I wasn't the only one left out of the loop.
Well, at Swarby
First of
will not go down.
Blame it on me. No, but here's the good news. The good news is you can blame it on me.
Oh, it's definitely going to be in your personality review. That's for sure.
Only
the
Zach.
Personality review.
Yes, and only Zach is allowed and certified.
It's getting serious now, guys.
Yes, he has William personality certification. Second clearance.
Second clearance. Whoa!
Oh shit! It's crazy.
Whoa!
There's only 10 individuals on planet Earth that's gone through that clearance.
This is how we started the. Whoa!
Yes, and one of them, rest in peace, is my father, who used to make me clean my plate at dinner. We had this really strict thing, like either clean your plate or go to the hospital. So I mean, if you didn't finish your food, you might be missing body parts. He would keep you sitting at the table for hours and hours and hours until you finished your sweet potato. And as a kid, I was tortured with. I like it now, but as a child, I was tortured with sweet potato, because if fucking horror stories. If you didn't eat your sweet potato, you were going to the emergency room.
Good God.
And and to get out of when we had Thanksgivings, this is a true story. When we got to get out of big family dinners when I was growing up, I used to hide food in my pockets. I mean, I'd wait till everybody, because everyone eventually would get, Thanksgiving, everybody would get liquored up and eventually start paying attention to the football game and shit. And I used to, when everybody was looking, I used to take sweet potatoes and fucking the food and Brussels sprouts and shit I didn't want to eat. And the move was, if you couldn't get it under the table and give it to the dog, because the dogs didn't even want this shit, man, after a while. You know what I mean? And the dogs would be filled. You got 2 or 3 kids that couldn't finish their plates, feeding the dogs under the table. It's not like I was the only one who had the move. Like I had sisters and cousins and shit. Yeah. So, yeah, we always used to, you put the food in your pocket, and then you ask, hey, can I use the bathroom? And you'd have to go up. Now, if you couldn't fit enough food in your pockets, you'd have to make trips. So, I mean, and you could only ask for so many trips to the bathroom.
Before it gets suspicious.
Right. I mean, you're right. You got a turkey leg in your pocket, fucking green beans in your back pocket. Yeah.
Yeah, you had this down to a whole operation.
You had to in my house. Survival, motherfuckers. Look at Lexi. She's like, I've never heard of such a thing.
What up, Gideon?
Lexi would have loved all that food. She would have said, pass it over here.
I was just thinking, I was like,
Getting hungry?
I'm starving now.
Yeah. So, yeah. We're going to start the show this time because we never do.
I didn't start the show.
Well, we kind of started the show. And the show starting right.
Well,
I know we were going to talk about like some pros and cons about booking, because I feel that it's a good time to talk about that. It's been a long time since we've just like covered some general like bands booking as independent bands. I mean, if you have a booking agency or a manager or somebody that's in the industry, then I guess you're already being told what to do. So this isn't for you.
Yeah, but it's always still good to know this kind of stuff. What if that agency's dicking you around?
They're always dicking you around.
It's always good to have knowledge just in case.
Beyond what people are dicking you with, yes. I agree. So we had talked about some today, and in the modern day world, more than ever, and thank goodness it's finally happening. Melissa, you'll never believe this, but bands are starting to care about attendance. And I mean, they started caring about this like maybe like the middle of last week, but that's okay. It's a start. Meaning, bands are figuring out that in order to get booked for shows, you have to bring people.
Yeah, it's typically
they just started figuring this
It's not typical, though, because people that play in bands are sometimes shocked when talent buyers don't want to hire them because of their amazing guitar skills. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like, people are under the impression that playing really fast drums books the show. And that's just not it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a part of it, but it's not the thing. It's any industry, really, you know, money talks and everything else. You want to see money. You want to see numbers.
Right.
You know, your amazing guitar playing isn't going to be the only thing bringing people through the door, because, you know, these venues, they have to account for their liquor sales, their food sale, you know. They need people in the door. Otherwise, you're not getting paid. So you need to be entertaining, and people need to, you know, want to see you. So you need to bring people in. You need to have that marketability.
I think for years, I believe in the most recent years, especially since social media, since the MySpace era, you have not ever seen... It's always been encouraged for artists to inflate their showmanship, their metrics, to inflate their fan bases. It's always been encouraged. It's always been rumored. It's always been reported that the record industry, distributors, and advertisers and artists are kind of bound together by bullshit. The issue really comes into view when we talk about how education and information is changing hands now versus how it was 5 or 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, even now, just now, I remember only a handful of years ago that people used to make fun of us pretty hard for marketing on Facebook and being on social media or going live, or we were one of those first bands that did stories or reels or stuff like that, or like TikToks. I remember getting shattered over that stuff. Remember, Melissa? Remember the watch parties when we started the groups? It was, you know, you were a sellout. You know what I mean? In heavy metal, you were a sellout if you had a fan group, or you know, there was a time when, you know, if you went live and talked about, you know, getting your friends and family to a show, that wasn't metal. You know, people were just supposed to go because you were awesome.
I feel like there's still certain parts of the, you know, the metal community that are still like that. Like
in the country community.
Who do you think you are?
In
like,
the rap
that?
community, but the independent community specifically, the independent and DIY community are the ones that are truly sickened by collaborations.
Right.
Nobody else is petrified of making friends. It's truly the neighbors and people that have to shop with each other in the same department stores that are worried about occupying the same space. To me, you know, bands in New England should do everything with each other and for each other,
right?
To help greater achieve success. The difference is, I think, between now and let's say 5 years ago, are now people are actually catching on a little bit. They're like, oh, what the fuck, man? I better make a story myself or no one's coming. I think it's finally getting through. You know, the issue is a lot, especially when I'm talking with other bands and creators, is I have to remind them that I told them so. Not to be a cunt. I have to remind them I told them so we can start the conversation where we left off. Because a lot of times I go, I fucking told you this 3 years ago. Now let me go back and update you on what's happened. Because I can't just start in 2023. Because the stuff that you're hearing about music in 2023, we're already working on 2024. I was telling you guys about AI and the metaverse 2 or 3 years ago. You guys thought the metaverse was about video games and all kinds of and NFTs and stuff like that. Consumers get so distracted by the toys that they miss the accounting, the banking, the fiscal portion of it. You know, it's like talking about Web 3.0 or the metaverse is almost like, you know, talking about the digital age when we used to record music on tape and film. It's kind of like something that consumers don't really understand is happening, like with streaming. It's just something, you know, at the time of streaming, people didn't know the difference between 24-bit wave and an MP3. And they still don't.
I was just about to say.
They still don't. When we talk about lossless audio or Dolby Digital, nobody knows what the fuck's talking about. 8K, 4K, 75K, KKK. You tell anybody KKK anything, they'll do it. There's enough people's doing it.
There are musicians out there that don't know what lossless audio
Right.
even is.
Right. There are musicians out there that don't know how to properly tag with metadata or IRSC codes. They don't know about Nielsen. They don't know about, you know, collection services. We've been through this before. How you guys collecting your? I don't know how you guys get paid for music. I don't know. I'm not sure. But you know, just to bring us to clean our plate, booking music is different today and not really recognizable as it was in 2018 or 19. And that's what can be so confusing. So if you're somebody that used to book, if you have, you're remembering a business model from the 60s or 70s or the 80s and you're trying to catch up, I mean, this shit is fucking unrecognizable. And we were talking about metrics. And we were talking about numbers and how in the music industry, it's commonplace. You hear all the time, all the way back from, bands and rappers on MTV and VH1, and how commonplace it is for you to hear artists that are wrapped up in legal litigations or fighting over royalties or contracts. You're hearing this all the time with big stars and heavy metal acts and guys that even play in a club. To Sepsiss. The difference between now and then is even 5 years ago, from the lowest on the totem pole, from mild to wild, to the biggest executives in the music industry, everybody was encouraged to fucking cheat because there was no way of catching anyone. But now we have the toys that I like to play with. For years, we've been warning you motherfuckers about this. Okay? And I told you guys before, and I'm telling you again. It's about to happen whether you like it or not. Authenticity is your biggest tool right now online. So if you are in a world where you get booked on numbers and metrics, in a world where you need to relinquish and prove your worth, in a world where the images have to match the ledgers, in a world where the metrics have to match the paycheck, there's no more room. We've already had the largest capacity. We've already had the largest capacity of independent artists and musicians that will ever be on Spotify. We have reached it. We have reached the amount of people there is to scam at this current time. Which means is everybody up until this point, you can only have so many people until MySpace collapses and everybody learns out what it is. So now we're here. Even bands that, what I'm saying is, even bands that 10 years ago, they didn't want to learn about the internet because it wasn't metal. 15 years ago, people didn't want to learn about marketing. Inflation has gotten so high. You see, before you had the freedom to not learn about marketing because you could hire somebody. You had the freedom to not learning about copywriting, so you could hire somebody. You didn't have to understand how to write or do copywriting because you could just hire publicists. And in an industry that survives because it's encouraged by cheating, you encourage an industry that has nothing but bad actors in it and looking for shortcuts. And musicians that just want to make music and are eager to pay people to scam them. But because of technology and because of the show of proof, because of authenticity and the value of authentic presence on the internet, never more than ever are you going to see proper ownership. Who's responsible? And now that we know who's responsible, that's why everyone's being called a creator now. That's why everybody has a digital footprint now. Because in the future, you won't be able to do business and lie about it. There will be no supervisors. There will be no human managers and supervisors that you can grease. Every artist will have to know how to advertise and how to market. Now, It might have not been metal before, but now metal bands from all over the nation and all over the globe come to us and say, Sepsiss, man, we're ready now. Teach us about social media. Now, regardless if it feels metal or not, they're ready to learn it because people are just now finally realizing how important it is if they want their dream to survive. People who thought they would never do digital banking now are realizing how much money they can save on groceries if they just convert to digital banking. And then when survival comes into issue, people are willing to understand, Zach. People are willing to get the lesson. And you're going to see that more and more. If you want to be in the future of the music industry and you want to be able to survive here, just like banking, if you want to be in the future of banking, you're going to be online. If you want to be in the future of advertising, you're going to be online. And bands are finally realizing that a lot of work that they have to do is not on the stage. And you can get educated or you can hire out. But when you hire out, you have to worry about human supervisors managing your property. You know, and, you know, we talk about it a lot here. But AI, the demand for AI, why people go, so why do people even want something like AI? It's to get rid of human supervisors because they can't be trusted. Because they go, 1, 2, 3 for you, 1 for me. 1, 2, 3 for you, 2 for me. As you see what I'm saying? So this is, you know, and it may be a confrontational topic for some people, but that's no different than a cigarette vending machine or a slot machine. You put your money in a slot machine and you trust that if you hit the numbers, it pays out.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Tips, booking into the future. Don't bot. That's where I'm going with this. No more botting. I know that the industry has depended on liars for so long that this whole topic that I'm bringing up to everybody is me pleading with you. That I know the industry has run on lies for so long. There are some people that are just hanging on to that for dear life. I think it's a mistake. I think if you're botting, you're playing with the numbers, you're in an industry that in the future is going to depend on you being real. Not boosting and boasting big metrics, but I think your big value is going to be in how real you are. The percentage of your authenticity, I think, is going to go farther than your subscribers on YouTube. Does that make sense, everybody? So stop lying, and whatever you do, do not buy into outdated old technology and human beings scamming and scheming you for playlists, botting, social media numbers. Those days are coming to an end. Paying people to write nice things about you, whatever your tricks are. All of these things in the future are going to be marks against your brand. There will be a digital fingerprint of you doing this. These behaviors that you use to cut corners, these behaviors that you use to cheat online, cybersecurity people who are on the other end of this have perfected catching you motherfuckers. Every time there's a pedophile online that thinks he's into a new trick, he's got to understand. If you're going to knock over a bank in the next 24 hours, you got to understand there are people out there that are waiting for you, that have perfected this technology. There are people up there that are waiting for scams and schemes to come through. There are people that are just like, remember, Trojan horses and computer viruses. There is an entire business of people that are paid top dollar to hunt down internet criminals and people that are cheating and playing with the metrics. So in a world, why do we need to take authenticity so seriously? Because our kids are on the internet. Because we monitor our homes on the internet. Our bank accounts are on the internet. They need to be authentic. They need to be secure. When you're looking for your child or your lost car, or you don't remember where you parked, or you need a secure way to look at your tax forms. The internet needs to be a dependable place for us in the future, because everything exists on there, including our music and our identities, DMV records. So this is why you don't want to cheat on the internet at all, because there'll be a record of you doing so in the future of the internet that depends on you being authentic.
And also
Lexi?
in the future of booking, because when promoters are going to be picking bands to like be on shows and stuff,
And
to
there might
see
not
if
even be
they're
promoters. I want to point that out, not to cut you out, but we're talking a little bit about AI, and if we get to it, there's a lot of booking agencies now that are going AI based. So there's no human supervisor that's going to look at bands at first. It's going to have to go through several different checkpoints and thresholds to get past the flaw of human supervisors. Because right now, human supervisors pick bands that grease them. Mm-hmm. That's what's wrong with the music industry. So in the future of the music industry, there's not going to be a human supervisor that chooses which candy goes in the machine. It will be behaviors, and the machine will choose.
because the machine will be able to prove your followers are authentic or not.
Goddamn right she's good. That's right. That's
Botting is toxic for your followers, for
it's
your
over,
demographic,
guys. And
for you doing
even the record
tours
labels
even.
know it. It's over for everybody. And this is the day that we've been waiting for. A day where independent and authentic people could actually be discoverable. It's human beings and human supervisors that hide independent bands, not the internet. Spotify suggests things based on human supervisors.
Now it's all going on to the internet. So for everything to be on the internet like everyone wants, it has to be a real dependable place.
Right now, I can pay you money to put me on a Spotify playlist. You're a person.
Yeah.
So if you're a popular guy, let's say you're a popular guy, you own an auto fair or a Volkswagen company, and you got a popular Volkswagen Spotify playlist. This is how it happens.
Yep.
This is exactly how it happens. And you have all your coworkers and everybody, you know what I'm saying? And part of your company and part of your agreement with Spotify and part of your agreement with your buddies that work there is for everybody in your company to subscribe to the playlist. And you and all of your networks and all of your buddies stockpile these playlists. You don't even listen to heavy metal. You just have a big playlist. You're just a popular guy.
Yep.
You can open up that playlist. You have, 20 million followers in Dubai. You know what I mean? And now you can take that same playlist. Say you got 2 or 3 of those playlists. You have a pop one, EDM one, AI, hip hop. Now you can make a living just selling playlists. Just being popular. You don't even know about music. You're a baker. You crochet. You've never listened to the playlist in your life. You're just a popular person. Anybody on Spotify that's really popular can make a playlist. If I'm Ariana Grande, I can make if Ariana Grande today said, you know what, I'm going to make a New England heavy metal rock and roll playlist. Sepsiss is going to the fucking you see what I'm saying? But not because we play good guitar, because we know Ariana.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to give people is music that people like, not music people are suggested.
Right.
We want to get to a place where suggested music is balanced with music that's up for discovery, brother. So we can create a free market in a place where, Christ almighty, man, we just do something else.
And it's trustworthy.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing.
What we're going through, I think, in every aspect, not even just music, is a place where the customers, the consumers, are having issues on who to trust. That goes to who to trust to give their money to for a ticket.
Subscription.
Subscription.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Because the internet is so oversaturated, and same with music, it's getting hard for the average person that's trying to discover on who they can trust. Not only trust, but who's going to be around long enough to trust, to go and pay the money to see. You know, everyone's inflating their numbers so quickly, and then a year later, because they're not getting viral, they quit, or they slow down, or they find another hobby.
That's a big thing we do see with fans. They say, man, I really like this band, or I like this artist, but I don't listen to them anymore because I don't think they're going to come out with anything new.
The lines are blurred for the average listener these days on, you know...
Right, they're
professional,
not.
Who's going to stick around?
Right,
who's
what team they're gonna play? Right, what team are they gonna play on long term?
Hobbyists or who's doing it seriously?
And that's why a lot of listeners treat great music like a one night stand.
Because they don't know if it's a hobby or not.
People do the same thing with shows. Like Netflix comes out with a new original series, they'll put it on for a season, maybe two, and then they just cancel it. And so, like, now people won't even want to get into it because, like, it's only a season or two worth of content. Why bother?
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
So
you
they're
want a
gonna-
show that you're going to be able to stick around with for a little bit.
And that's and that,
Longevity.
I think when we started talking about booking shows earlier, Lexi started zeroing in on, like, because this is what we're talking about, is like value and quality. How many shows are you playing a season? How frequently are you playing in the same area? And I think that all this goes into the same type of behaviors that you see online. This kind of anxious, kind of, you know, don't stop until you drop viral mentality, and bands burning out online. Bands oversaturating themselves on certain radio stations, or just getting tunnel vision and going Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge, Blue Ridge. You know what I mean? And it's that syndrome, again, of like having like a bunch of great eggs and then either putting them all into one basket or just like holding all your eggs and never putting them into any baskets. And it's like, today, you can take some eggs and put them in some baskets and then see what happens a little. You know what I'm saying? It's not the... But we've talked about the bad actors that will appear in your life and say, crack all over the eggs all over your head, you know, type of people. And I just think right now we're in the middle, and if people could avoid that crash out mentality for a little while longer, I think that there's some light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
There you go. So YouTube is under fire.
Again.
Yeah, for child protection. And I'm not going to get into this, but this is goes hand in hand with kind of why all of this blue checks and blue badges and authenticity and what's real and what's not. We've never argued about what's real and what's not for so long, since 2018. And we've been arguing about it since, and it's because of the fucking internet. I mean, we used to hear about shit happening in North Korea, 30 years ago. Whether we knew it was real or not, it almost didn't matter, because you weren't updated about it every fucking second. Things had to develop.
Right. And also, based on whatever region you were at, you didn't hear what's going on.
And even then, you had to go to sleep that night, and then you woke up and was like, nothing blew up.
Right?
You weren't constantly thinking like something was going to blow up in the next 5 minutes.
Right, you weren't hitting refresh like, has there been another update? Is there another update?
That's what I meant.
Yeah, you had to wait till the next morning when the paper came out.
Well, that's what's wrong with bands that release songs every week.
Every day.
Ugh.
That hurts.
There's some that release them every day.
I would not want to listen to my own music every day, or anyone's. I need a break. So YouTube's going to face another scrutiny over its policies, with researchers observing that it served ads to minors, appearing to contradict its own policies and leading to some questionable. However, rigorously, it meets the requirements of the FTC's Children Online Privacy Protection Rule. It requires the service providers to obtain verifiable parental consent prior to using personal information from children, like knowing what they view or what behaviors they've done repeatedly. This is all advertising stuff, guys. It's not, for those of you that are thinking much darker, we're not there yet. This has a lot to do with behaviors, advertising and marketing behaviors, and data sharing. The difference is, supposedly, that us adults are supposed to know what we're doing when we're crawling. And when we're crawling, we're supposed to remember that we're responsible for what we're crawling for. Because Lex is going to bring this shit up later. The way you behave on the internet, you are bound by legal responsibilities. However, research alleged that installation process of the YouTube app creates a persistent identifier named X Good Visitor ID. That sounds crazy. In a matter that makes it difficult for users to manage their consent choices. The installation ID is subsequently streamed to YouTube servers, and as a result, advertisers are serving targeted ads made for kids. This is not good.
No.
You know, you think in terms of like things that go bang. They can serve these kinds of ads now. Mm-hmm. Things that jiggle and wiggle. They can add this type of content, and this is why AI is so big, because there's not enough human beings to be on Reddit all day watching your kids. Does everybody get that? Because the thing is, parents go, I don't know what they're doing. I can't control what they're doing all of the day. You've put our lives on this thing. We can't go to the bank or school without this. So you have to give one to your kid. Then they get mad at you because of what the kid's watching. And you go, well, I can't do that. And they say, you should be doing that. You're the human supervisor. You need to watch the kid. You go, the kid's got the phone 24 hours a day. I get arrested if I discipline the kid. Mm-hmm. The kid's in charge. If you yell at the kid, you're going on Instagram. He's going to be there putting you live. Look at my mom. Look, making a fool out of her. And harassing her, because that's what the kids learn to do with the internet, is to harass each other, because the kids learn it from their fucking parents. Because all the adults are doing all day is fucking harassing each other and cyberbullying each other. So when the parents are like, oh, I can't stand the way that these kids talk. I can't stand the way that these kids act. And they're so violent and they're so mean to each other. And they're all cyberbullying each other and acting like criminals online. It's because since they were little babies, they've been watching you do it. So no, you can't be there to watch your kid 24 hours a day. And yes, we've made a world where we believe that we need this thing for 24 hours a day. And the ones that convince the children that they need it 24 hours a day, or they'll have an anxiety attack, is us. The human supervisor, who now is complaining to give the jobs to the robots because we didn't want to build our own fucking cars. It's not like this is the first time it happened. We did this with dishwashers. How come we don't want to wash the dishes? It was too hard. How come we created a whole world built out of petroleum-based products where we fucking tar and feather the streets, and now we all ride around in automobiles that are arguably fucking killing us? Remember when that was a great idea for everyone in the world? So we convinced the entire fucking world. And now we want to go green. What? You've convinced an entire planet to pave itself. So you've built a world that depends on pavement. You've built a world that depends on being on the pavement 24 hours a day. We're on plastic 24 hours a day. We're drilling for oil 24 fucking hours a day. We're fucking killing each other 24 fucking hours a day. It's all we do. Take a selfie. Congratulate yourself. It's all we do. Kiss ourselves, look at ourselves, drink our own fucking bathwater. We paved the whole planet. We drilled the whole planet. For what? So we've convinced our children that they can be on this thing 24 hours a day. Take it from them, they'll fucking kill you. Take this shit from your kids. It'll fucking kill you. Because it trusts this thing more than you. It's more reliable. So don't complain about you losing your fucking jobs. Don't do that. Because you already gave them away. You didn't want to build the cars anymore after you paved the planet. It was too hard for you. We're going to pave the entire planet by hand. Then we're going to drive around it for convenience and then fucking whine about it when you got to clean up the mess. Excuse me.
Heavy.
Damn.
Timestamp.
Right?
Definitely timestamp. But it's true, though. We've paved the whole
Oh my God,
fucking planet.
What's up, Bernie?
Thank you.
You armed the whole planet. You armed everybody. Gave everybody plastic and cocaine. Good job. And we're on here talking about heavy metal. Heavy metal's the least of the problems.
I
But
gotta press the button for Bernie.
okay.
Sorry. Thank you for subscribing.
Thank you.
Why are you subscribing to shit? We gotta do more stuff. Yeah, if you're a subscriber or a Patreon, we're about to get fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Now's the time.
This is the. I was about to
Now's
say,
the fucking
this is
time,
the time of
to
season.
become a Patreon.
Yeah, we're about to do tons of recording, a bunch of new releases. In fact, if you are a Patreon, you are going to hear a brand new Sepsiss song. I mean, it could be hours, it could be moments, it could be tonight. Like, it could conceivably be tonight. You don't know.
On Hump Day?
That'd be crazy.
Oh,
Can you believe that, though? Like, we have a new song coming out now. Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
It's better than all the shit I was screaming about. That was crazy. I need some water.
We have new song out, new merch out. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's new that's out. Go check it out.
I always get upset when they start bothering the kids on YouTube. I think that's what gets to me. Leave the kids alone.
Yeah.
All right. Tinder's background checks. They've entered their partner with Garbo, who is their third-party nonprofit platform that's focused on promoting safety, harm, and they have now ended their partnership with the Match Group, which is Tinder's parent company, if you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Match group?
The Match Group.
The Match.
Like Match.com?
Yes.
Nice.
Makes sense.
Right?
Well, people have accused them of digital pimping. And the two have inked a deal in 2001 with Garbro helping to facilitate the low-cost background checks on potential dates for Tinder users, then later rolling out similar features on Match's namesake app in Stir. This is for all you horny motherfuckers out there.
So wait, you're saying now's the time to get on Tinder and you don't have to go through a background check?
I hate to be reporting this, but yes.
Oh,
That's what I'm saying. You know, this is great
that's
stuff.
dangerous.
Isn't this awesome? Would anybody like a shot? The integrated feature also allowed daters to run a number of free background checks.
Wait. They call them daters?
I hate this shit. I just report on it, okay? I didn't say I like it.
He's like, don't kill the report.
All right.
Don't shoot the messenger.
I fucking hate all this shit, and you know it. I purposely go after shit I can't stand to put it on the program because I realize it's gonna get me.
To react.
Yeah. I don't talk about stuff I like. That'd be boring. So yes. So it's not just Match Group. Garbo is shutting down their entire online background check, so free for everyone. Anybody that's feeling frisky, come one, come all. Look at Ah, man. And more bad news. So all of you, man, if you're on Tinder, I would reconsider. Now, do you know what I mean when it's important to be authentic on the internet?
I sure do.
Right. You don't know who you're fingering in the future.
Oh my gosh. This is a terrifying world we're going into.
I meant that in a non-physical way. Okay. So, here's another one. So, Charles Martinet, do you know who he is?
No.
You've heard his voice so many times. Please put in the comments if you know. I'm going to say his name in a different way because someone's going to fucking Google it and cheat.
I was going to say, I just looked it up.
Do not use Google. Disclaimer.
Wait, why? You're making me want to use it.
Well, that's because it's cheating.
Right.
Okay, I won't do it.
What three notes are in A minor?
An A minor?
Gotcha.
Do, re, mi.
Well, do might be in there. Actually, if to be real with you, if you were talking in middle C, your do would be good. And so would your me. As long as your me was not flattened. Okay, now listen. Popular voice. One of the most popular voices, arguably, in Japan. You've listened to him your whole life. Go.
I already cheated, so I'm not saying it.
I know, you're not
Wait,
allowed.
what?
Used to fight a big gorilla.
Godzilla?
Donkey Kong?
Close. Very close. You are close. You're hot.
You're on fire.
You're burning up. It's me.
Oh, Mario?
Yeah. So Charles is the guy that does the voice of Mario, and he said, I'm fucking done. He's not going to be Mario anymore. But that's all right because everybody mimics him anyways.
Right.
But what the fuck, huh? Fuck him. No, I'm sure he's got a good reason. I'm sure he's got a good reason.
He's not gonna be Mario?
No, he's gonna play drums for Sepsiss.
Cool.
Oh shit.
That's it. That's all I had for that one. So YouTube is testing a new display for subscriptions feed and new discovery music. Now, why is this important? Because this is more of what I talked about, guys. This is the reason why I decided to grab this article is because this is the evidence and the proof that the world is changing for musicians. I want to make a confession. I don't come up with any of the shit that I talk about online. Meaning, none of anything that I've ever done, ever, is truly like original content. Every song I've ever written, every poem I've ever done, any lyrics I've ever written, anything on this podcast, anything I've ever said is just like a combination of good ideas and stuff that I've heard other people do. So that might shame people or scare people in the age of AI and everyone's so worried about being themselves and figuring out their identity or what contribution you're going to have to planet Earth. But I'm telling you, with the least amount of anxiety, I'm explaining to you with the least amount of anxiety possible. If I could just take being anxious and then swap that for ambition. Seriously, instead of having expectations, I swap them for goals. And that's why you see that I have a different attitude about it. But A minor is A minor. It's not like when Will plays A minor, it's a different A minor. 1K is 1K. So people may see the world in kilometers and then other people see the world in miles. You know what I mean? But we're all moving forward and backward and around. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't get carried away too much with the whole original idea in original music or original content challenge. I don't get too wrapped up and I don't become too obsessive about it here. Because I don't take credit for being a know-it-all or being good at guitar. People give me shit all the time about I'm not good enough playing guitar. And I said, man, I agree with you. I'm trying to get better all the time. So you know what I'm saying? So when people say that I'm not smart enough or I don't have all the answers or whatever, that shit is good news to me, Zach, because I'm in pursuit of the answers. So just to remind people, when I come on here, talking about this stuff, it's not because I'm a know-it-all or because I drummed up or I brewed up some creative original idea. Nah, I mean, we've been crawling the world in the internet, in the music industry for years to develop the skills and the resource gathering skill sets that we can present and cross-reference and talk about and organize cognitively. So I just wanted to point that out, that a lot of this stuff that we talk about on this show is really thoughts and ideas that have already been presented by much smarter people than me. So for anybody that thinks I'm an idiot, go fuck yourself. YouTube is testing out a new way to ensure that you don't miss any uploads from your favorite creators in the app. At the same time, it is also looking to help users find more relevant music matches. You've never heard of this before. YouTube is testing a new channel shelf in the subscriptions feed, where you will be able to see when a channel that you subscribe to has multiple new clips uploaded. Stop. Can you, I know, whoa. Think of how fucking dumb this is. I need to write this down. Now, this has never happened in the history of internet neutrality. Remember the way YouTube used to work? You used to type something in and then you'd find it or something that resembled it. And now you just type, like if you type in heavy metal, you're just going to find like Pantera. You're just, you know what I mean? It's just, it doesn't, well, even Meta products like Instagram and Facebook are going to be offering in the future. Remember me saying this first, everybody. You'll be able to toggle on and off an algorithm-based internet experience. Did you hear what I just said?
You'll be able to toggle it on and off.
You know how people complain all the time, I don't get to see this feed.
Yeah.
And how come I don't get to see people that I follow? That's what this is. They're allowing you to get updates from people you actually follow. No more algorithm-based following.
Well, it's about damn time.
So people you subscribe to, you'll get noticed. See, when you back, let me explain it to you. It just seems weird. But when you subscribe to things on YouTube, you've thought this whole time, I'm going to subscribe to it, and then YouTube is going to not only show me more stuff like it, but it's definitely going to show me when my favorite creators and artists and musicians upload stuff.
It never did that.
It never did that.
No, not unless that person paid them to.
Bingo.
You just said it.
You just said it. In the future of the internet, the very near future, you're seeing it here where YouTube is now starting to roll out a music discovery where you can toggle off the algorithm-based suggestion features of the internet. More and more, the internet is going to become a place where people that are there that want to be suggested recipes will be suggested new recipes based on an algorithmic-based internet. And people that subscribe to their favorite artists and creators will now be able to get updates in frequency to those people that they subscribe to. It seems like such an obvious thing.
Right.
It's never been.
This is such a breakthrough.
It's like going to the It's like going to the store and look and say, this is bread, aisle 7, and then going there and there's really bread.
You can trust it. You can trust YouTube again.
So rather than seeing various, are you okay?
Yeah.
So rather seeing various new videos from a single creator in the main feed, you'll be able to check out all of the latest videos since you logged in with a separate stream. Could make it easier to stay on top of the latest content from your favorite creators and artists. The only challenge will be ensuring that users are aware of the update and that they are using the new filters to watch for latest content. So that's what people have a problem with now, is most people could do more refined searches even on the internet. It's just they don't want to put in the work. You could find a lot about sepsis, you know what I mean? But you might have to search beyond the disease.
Right.
YouTube says that it's currently fucking itself. I mean, testing out this with small... the other new test they're doing is a song discovery process, which will enable users... Oh, wow. Which will even allow... I had to make sure I read it right. Which will even allow users to hum the tune into the app.
What?
Oh, shit.
To be able to identify the song like Shazam used to do?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonder how accurate it would be.
The song you were looking for is Sepsiss, Blacklight Invasion. Now playing Sepsiss, Blacklight Invasion. Bing.
Put a 1 in the chat if you would like Lexi to be your AI assistant voice model. Wouldn't that be cool?
Right?
Wouldn't that be cool if, Melissa, if we woke up to Lexi waking us up every day? Oh, wait, she already does.
Good morning.
So that's that. Hopefully you guys like it. If you don't,
Yes.
you know.
When is it? Is it already out? It's already out.
I should have checked, but it said soon.
Soon, Zach.
Soon?
Soon.
Coming soon to
So, I'm just going to read this quickly. So, as many social media outlets like Meta have announced, as I was speaking about earlier, that they're taking new measures to comply with a soon-to-be enacted EU Digital Services Act called the DSA. And this is important. You know, it's great because I feel like Europe has always makes the move, and then we finally get around to it. Kind of like drill rap.
And like everything else.
And like everything else.
And like...
Right. So basically people people across the pond are like, we are so tired of an algorithmic based internet. We just want to be set free. Break free. You ain't heard that in a while, have you? That's all she has to say. So it aims to provide more of a capacity for social media users to manage their online experience as well on how their personal data is being used. The DSA also offers to facilitate greater competition within the sector, providing more insight into operating process on large platforms like Meta will soon let the European users access an algorithm-free experience on all of its apps. So it's going to be rolled out to Europe first. We'll all be stuck in algorithmic prison until 2030.
What?
I don't know if that's true or not.
I was about to say.
That really bothered. She'd say, "Oh my God, that sounds
That's
awful."
a long test. That's
Right?
a long beta.
Just kidding. The security guard who went viral for singing at a Taylor Swift concert was just fired.
For what?
For singing? He's a Swiftie.
For swing?
I'm a huge Swiftie. Everybody knows how I get down.
How dare they do that to the Swifties?
Right?
He's a loyal fan.
That shit wouldn't, fuck around and find out. That would have happened in New Hampshire. I would have been over there picketing with my picket.
There's another Swiftie fan too.
Who? We got a link.
Disturbed. He wants to make a song with her.
No wonder why I love Disturbed so much.
He thinks she's like the best
Yo.
songwriter. Like
I don't
right
know
now.
if anybody gets sick, I'll fill in on drums.
Have the Swifties get together.
Right, Swifties is getting nifty. So Dragon Force, the super speed Nintendo metal band. Dragon Force received a new fan so he can blow his hair around more than he was before.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Just kidding, Melissa.
This is not.
So I guess they were upset because they got a copyright infringement strike on their own song. So fucking what? That happens to DIY musicians every day.
Right?
But here's the thing about that. The song that they did a copyright strike on was a song that they've already released, and the guy that reported that that's a copyright strike re-released a song on his channel and YouTube and with him and not with Dragon Force. That's
knocked them off their dragon course.
Yeah, that's the thing with this particular copyright strike on Dragon Force. Is it was done by like a fan who claims to be Dragon Force, saying that that's not their song, but that's really their song.
But that happens with us and our record label. We go, that's our song. And then our record label goes, no, that's our song. And then we go, no, it's not. It's our song.
Except this time it wasn't a record label. It was a dude, like a fan.
Well, our record label's not
song.
much of a record label either. It's just a fucking dude who's a fan of stealing shit.
That's true.
It's the same thing. It's one
the
guy
same thing.
sitting in an office stealing shit.
It's the same thing.
Right.
They're just stealing.
I mean, anyone who's put out music with CD Babies had their shit on YouTube get flagged.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well, that was kind of my point. Is like, I understand they'd have to pursue that. I am making a joke. I'm glad that Herman Lee is pursuing his property. However, welcome to the fucking club. If you're a DIY or independent musician, you've been trying to beg people to pay you for your music since LimeWire. Do you hear what I just said? Like, I've been a musician since LimeWire. Nobody gives a fuck about paying us. I'm still arguing about that.
Yeah.
We couldn't convince to pay the musicians back when TLC was out. Remember poor T-Boz there crying over her fucking Captain Crunch. God bless her. I love her.
I love Captain Crunch.
This also goes back too to the beginning of the cast today, where you talk about human supervisors. This is a human supervisor error. If there was AI would be able to identify that this is indeed a Dragon Force song. Mm-hmm. This is indeed a Sepsiss song because of this code, this code, this code. This is owned. This is copyrighted. This is trademarked. This is owned by this. This is owned by that.
With AI, it's so powerful. It can see where the file is originally generated.
From the data box that Facebook and Spotify pays millions of dollars for.
Think of AI. You know when like planes go down, they're like, holy shit, everything blew up and it landed in the Pacific Ocean and all the sharks ate it and shit it out. And they go and get that black box.
Yeah, the flight box thing.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
It's a shark could eat your fucking song, go into the music industry, have sex with a gorilla, explode an atomic bomb, and somehow the black box of security is going to protect your music.
Huh.
I'm seriously, because there's no human supervisor pulling the shark up, lying about it. When they pull it up and rip that black box out of his ass, they're going to be able to tell it's black light invasion. Imagine sharks eating black boxes. Can't do that. Only trawl can have sharks.
Trawl.
I love those guys.
Yeah,
they got sharks. What's cooler than fucking sharks? Nothing. And I said, we did a show with them, and I said, I fucking love the sharks thing, man. Why did you do it, you know? And he goes, Will, what the fuck is cooler than sharks? And I thought. And then I thought some more. I said, you know what? Nothing. Not really. Yeah. A super stealthy, fucking bloodthirsty fucking animal with razor sharp. His face is filled with razors.
I'm more of a whale guy, but I see the point you're making.
Yeah. That's why we love Zach. Take it away, Lexi.
About
whatever you want. The music industry is over.
It is over.
What?
But
industry?
not really. Not really.
Okay.
Because it's going to the independent. It really. This goes to what you were talking about earlier when you were talking about botting and booking shows.
Yes.
The industry that we're all like thinking exists is like some investor is gonna put all this money into you.
So someone's gonna knock on your door and say, "Man, I've been listening to your stuff on that Spotify playlist that you bought into, and I'm ready to make the contract."
It's not.
You've got 1,700 plays, and we're ready to.
It's not gonna happen.
Damn.
Especially when they'll be able to prove that your 17,000 plays was not actually done by real people. It was done by robots.
Oof.
That part of the industry is gone. It's not going to be real. Like, you can't do like the scamming. Oh, this person has 1 million.
You can't just buy your likes anymore?
No, I don't think so.
You can't. Well, you might be able to, but you're not going to get rewarded for it. I think you will be able to, and I think that's the sick part.
You will be able to, but there will be drawback to it. You're not going to get what you think you're going to get.
The same way you can cheat on your taxes now. You know what I mean? The same way.
See that, or you just start paying real people. Hey, I'll give you $20 to like my page.
But even that's going away, like we were talking about earlier.
Those behaviors are also measurable. I don't know if people can realize that, but those behaviors are also measurable. For instance, Spotify knows when 10,000 people that don't listen to your kind of music, you know, if all of a sudden there's these accounts that listen to country music, all of a sudden start listening to female-fronted rock and heavy metal, it sets off a red flag. So it's
Spotify must have red flagged me then.
It's impossible to migrate an entire group of people to like a single song. It's just so it's an obvious screw up. You got a playlist with 2 million people on it. It's a workout playlist. 2 million people are not suddenly going to be listening to your music every day. No. It's just not an entire group of people from a single source. It's just not, you know what I mean? It's just not all of a sudden Denver loves Sepsiss. Well, how?
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not and it's not that we can't go play a night in Denver and then people like the band. But you know how it is. We go play a night in Denver with 250. 250 people are not liking and following the band. Mm-hmm. They fucking loved it when we were there. They went crazy. They bought merch.
Yep.
But a lot of times, bro, they're not going to jump on and follow your fucking Spotify. It's not real.
Right.
It might take that second encounter. It might, they go home and it goes through their rotation a few times. And if something happens and there's a memory, there's a moment in their life and your song's in the background. And they go, oh no, this is now special between me and you. Or this is now... Or what was playing that last night at the when we were on the highway? I want to hear that one again. Or your friends ask you, hey, what was that song? What was that band we listened to last night? Then you're following. Mm-hmm. Then you're subscribing because now more people have interest in it, and that's when people start following stuff. People don't follow shit that their friends don't have interest in. You know? Yeah. So they can tell between accounts. That's why, if you go shopping. If you go shopping on Sweetwater, I'll start seeing bases and because the algorithm knows, hey, I'm you might be broke, but your friends aren't.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Like you're shopping for Sweetwater for DI boxes. Maybe you can't afford it that week, but smart advertising knows that friends like to help friends out. Mm-hmm. So you and I are talking about DI boxes in the lunchroom. I go home and I see a DI box float across my cookies on Facebook. I'm like, damn, Zach was talking about DI box. This DI box right here, $70. The advertising machines know when you're looking for something cool, when you're looking for basketballs, when she's searching for a new dress, it's going to alert all her friends that Lexi's looking for a new dress. Mm-hmm. And somebody might drop drop some money on it.
Because people these days only care about what other people think of them. Mm-hmm. And advertisers and marketers know that. So they go to that demographic every time. Everyone does it.
Mm-hmm. In fact, they're more apt to show the brokest people stuff because they know that broke people will bother people with money for things.
As well.
People that have money don't need things. They're bored already. They've had all the things.
Broke people need things.
All my millionaire friends they dress poorly. They don't do nothing. I got a handful of friends that are millionaires. They are bored to death. They're tired of the boat. They're tired of the orgy. They're tired of the guns. They're tired of the concert.
Right.
They're looking for some home. They're looking to read. So I mean, but who spends most of his money? People around him. The poor people around him spend his money. That's who spend the rich man's money. His loved ones. Mm. All the poor people around him that need him. Yeah, weird thing. Hey, I want to talk about this because we don't have too much time. Yeah, I want to talk about it if possible. But Lexi's going to teach us all a little bit about internet security because it's important after all the things that we talked about tonight. And in the past, so many of our friends and fellow creators that have been stalked or harassed or cyberbullied online, I thought it was important, especially because I have kids, I thought it was important for all y'all that have kids also and people to protect. I think it's important education and information for everybody to know, because the internet has been around for a long time. However, it's really strange. People are not aware of their rights on the internet, and people are not aware of criminal behavior on the internet. And we're always talking about scams and schemes and how to avoid these sort of things, but we don't really talk about how to avoid rapists, killers, psychopaths, pedophiles, and other types of criminal, cyber stalkers, and the behaviors, the criminal behaviors that go on and alongside in tandem with online harassment and online cyber stalking. Cyber stalking and harassment is a criminal behavior. So a lot of times we're friends with people that are doing these type of behaviors and we just don't know it. This can be a boyfriend or a girlfriend that you're living with. There's also domestic cyber abuse, and people aren't aware of that. Even grabbing someone's phone or holding their social media hostage or threatening to embarrass them with logging into their social media or hacking their social media. All of these behaviors are criminal behaviors. And they are criminal behaviors because I'm from state prison. That's how I'm telling you that. I don't need a scientist. Lexi will tell you what the law is on this in a minute. But I'm telling you it's a criminal behavior because I come from a criminal background and criminal environment. So the behaviors that go along with stalking, cyber stalking, cyber bullying, and harassment are definably and by definition criminal behaviors and even illegal in some places. So Lexi, without further ado, let's help some of these people out so they can get some help.
So when talking about cyberbullying in adults, it's no longer called cyberbullying. It's actually called online harassment or stalking because of the kids. So they broke up those two terms for the children, because children as well as adults also get cyberbullied, and that's called cyberbullying.
Yeah, so when it's little kid, basically so if you're a child on the internet acting childish with another child and engaging in childlike behavior, that's bullying. So we've had people contact the band before, grown adults, and I've tried to explain this to them. They said, well, I'm getting cyberbullied. That's not cyberbullying. When children pick on each other online, that's cyberbullying. What she's talking about, definably, is an upgraded version of that. And that's because adults know the difference. That's why when adults take part in this type of behavior, when adults stalk and harass and cyberbully people online, legally it's upgraded to harassment. Because adults should know the difference. Right. They should know better.
And also, that is in turn a harassment, but in an online setting. And in that, it is illegal in the country. No, regardless of the state, it's illegal in the country
to harass people.
Harass people, period. Regardless if it's online or face to face.
On the phone.
Face to face in a phone call, video call.
So I think this is important because the people have been confused a lot and asked us for support about this recently. And the confusion is whether or not they were being cyberbullied. And so if you are an adult and someone is suspected of cyberbullying you, chances are they're harassing you. So you can't use the language anymore of being cyberbullied. And this is why I've recommended to people that have experienced this in the past to go through the proper channels. Because you may know somebody who's doing this type of stuff to somebody, and just you're not aware that it's a forceful adult behavior. And adults will take part in this behavior because of the childlike appearance that comes along with it. So they'll continue this behavior believing that they'll be treated as a child if they're caught for it.
But they're not going to be. They're going to be tried as an adult for doing it because they're an adult. And online harassment constitutes as a third-degree misdemeanor, which is the offender repeatedly communicating with the victim in a threatening, obscene manner anonymously or at extremely inconvenient hours.
So just like in the real world, you're not allowed to just contact some lady on the phone over and over and over again and call her names or demean her. Just like you're not allowed to call a child and threaten him or tell him he's going to rot in hell or rot in pieces. Just like you're not allowed to make up stories or postings in the newspaper that are uncomfortable or low quality in nature. Just like adults can't do that in reality, adults are also expected to not do that online.
The same thing goes for online. You can't just show up to someone's house every single day at 3 o'clock and be like, dut, 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 dut,
Right.
dut.
Somebody contacting a business, if you're an adult and you're contacting Domino's Pizza or Sepsiss every day, every month, if you're contacting them, that is, you know what I'm saying? If you're contacting a business and it doesn't have anything to do with business, it could be considered harassment. So, this is important to learn, everybody.
Joshua McNeil sent 500 stars. Thank you.
It's my brother.
Thank
Yo,
you.
please, Josh, please grab your Swarmy Fest tickets. And please bring your tattoo equipment.
Wait.
Don't wait.
Whoa.
No, hold on.
Whoa.
Hold
Wait
on.
a second.
Yes, but I have to get him here first. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to get him to come to Swarmy Fest. Maybe we'll get a couple little things. Because we'll have the extra weekend. That's a big weekend. Yeah. Wouldn't that be fun? I think Josh should come up. We'll do like a little tattoo job. That'd be fun. We haven't had one of those in a while. Like the little $20, $40 tats. Those are good. We even got another. Well, we can't yet. Can't wait till we get done with the apprenticeship.
She's like, please.
Where's the apprentice? So that's that. I had something else on this too. I don't know if you looked at that other one also.
The other article on it?
I don't know. Is that all you had?
Well, another part of the cyber world of this, and online harassment it's addictive. It starts to become addictive for the person that's doing it because of the false emotion of success. It's so temporary, and it's like the perpetrator is like chasing the high, like, oh, every single day at 3 p.m. I'm gonna send this person a message, and once I send it, boom, I feel much better about myself. And if I don't do it at this time,
and this is the sick, illegal, and mental health nature of it, is that it is kind of like chasing a high. You know, where you kind of get in a power, you know, you kind of get in this artificial rush of being able to control and intimidate and inflict fear into your victims. But the truth is, you know, if you're an adult and you're taking, you're not taking precautions, you know, in exhibiting these kind of behaviors, it can be drug-like, where it's, you know what I mean, it's hard to stop. Just like any other abusive behavior, like alcoholism or domestic abuse, it winds up spiraling out of control to where, you know, unfortunately, real world circumstances start to take over. Does that make sense?
and if you do find yourself in these situations, like let's say you're uncomfortable all the time, or you now no longer are happy with the entertainment on your social media, or you're unhappy with using your social media because of some sort of harassment, there is a way for you to get out of it. There is a way for you to resolve it. There is a way for it to stop. And one of those ways is the block, the muting, the reporting them, using the platform that they are harassing you on to protect yourself. And if that doesn't work, that's when you take the next steps of screenshotting and possibly reporting it and recording it.
I will say this too.
There are
the
ways.
internet has come a long way. Cybersecurity is big business, and the reason why it is because there's money involved. You know, they know that the best users on all these platforms are the safest users. The people that are using YouTube the way it's supposed to be. Google knows that there are people on Google that use Google for inappropriate purposes. There is entire teams that are waiting around and creating software, their entire digital and human supervisors. Since the internet has been out, they've created enormous business in protecting and defining this behavior. It's interesting because when you look up cyberbullying or cyber stalking, you won't find much on it that's new. And you might go, oh my God, that's depressing. It's not. It means they got it down to a fucking science. It means that they've determined that these behaviors are fucking criminal. These behaviors are abusive.
Yep.
And I think that's the big takeaway, is that all the responsible adults that are invested in people's comfort and safety all agree that that sort of behavior is abusive, and that responsible adults are going to do everything in their power to not only monitor it, but make sure that it's punishable when adults need to be held accountable. So make sure you're not, you don't got no pictures of no little kids in your phone, but we got to go.
Yeah, places like Facebook and Instagram, big places. I say those two places mostly because there are statistics that state that Instagram and Facebook are one of the most popular places for online harassment.
They're aware of it, yeah.
And those big places spend upwards of millions of dollars to house all that data, as well as you taking that screenshot. They're also doing their part.
If
They're
there's
spending
anything,
millions to
if
try
there's
to
anything
protect
that we could have taught people today, or if there's anything that could be learned from today, is that be yourself, you know, and the future of the internet depends on you using it in an authentic way. And human beings are running out of time to use fake accounts, troll, hide behind corners, create rumors, steal music, copyright infringement, intellectual property, scams, lotteries, fake casinos. The days of just treating people the way you want to on the internet and being hidden are coming to an end. The days of you just being opinionated without you being held accountable. See, you have the freedom to say whatever you want, at least in this country. You have the freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. But you don't have the freedom of ducking the consequences. Have a good night.
Good night, guys.